All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our online training entitled Review of the 2023 ANA Funding Opportunity Announcements. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar is brought to you by the Eastern Region Training and Technical Assistance Center, a resource of the Administration for Native Americans. Before we get started with today's webinar, we want to let you know, due to the rules that govern the Department of Health and Human Services grant award process, we are unable to take any questions on this webinar. So my name is Kwani Oswi, and I will be your trainer today. I am a technical assistance provider with the Eastern Region Training and Technical Assistance Center. I've been with the Eastern Region for a little over 3 years, and I am an enrolled member of the United Kituwa Band of Cherokees of Oklahoma. All right, the Administration for Native Americans, or ANA, is a U.S. federal agency with a mission to promote self-sufficiency for Native Americans, Alaska Natives, and Pacific Islanders by providing discretionary grant funding for community-based projects, training, and technical assistance to eligible tribes and Native organizations. ANA envisions a nation where all Native communities are thriving. In today's training, we will focus on ANA's newly published Notice of Funding Opportunity Announcements, or NOFOs. To help you apply for an ANA grant, this training will focus on 2 primary objectives. 1, to provide an overview of the 5 ANA NOFOs, and 2, review the ANA project framework and NOFO content requirements. ANA has 5 standing Notice of Funding Opportunity Announcements, and they are 1, Social and Economic Development Strategies, or SEDS for short, Social and Economic Development Strategies for Alaska, or SEDS-AK, Native Language Preservation and Maintenance, or PNM, Esther Martinez Immersion, or EMI, and finally, Environmental Regulatory Enhancement, or ERE. The SEDS program is designed to support community-based projects that increase the ability for Native Americans to define and achieve their own economic and social goals, and/or the capacity to exercise local control and decision-making to promote the interests of community members. SEDS projects focus on one or more of the following 3 interrelated concepts, which form a foundation for self-sufficiency. 1, social development, supporting local access to, control of, and coordination with programs and services that safeguard the health, well-being, and culture of Native peoples. 2, economic development, fostering the development of stable, diversified local economies and economic activities that provide jobs and business opportunities that promote economic well-being and self-sufficiency in Native American communities. And 3, governance, assisting tribes, Native American organizations, and Alaska Native village governments to increase their ability to enhance their administrative infrastructure and capacity to develop and enforce laws, regulations, codes, and policies that reflect and promote the interests of community members. The purpose of the SEDS-AK program is to provide funding for projects designed to enhance governance and programmatic management capacity for Alaska Native villages. Governance is defined as the exercise of local control and decision-making through duly constituted institutions of tribal government, the development and enforcement of laws, regulations, codes, and policies that reflect and promote the interests of community members, and the planning and development of social service or economic programs to meet the needs of the community. The purpose of the Preservation and Maintenance Program is to help Native Americans ensure the survival and vitality of Native American languages. ANA supports locally determined projects that achieve community goals through specific measurable outcomes. To perpetuate language preservation efforts for Native communities, if appropriate, PNM projects should identify opportunities for the replication or modification of such projects for use by other Native Americans. and include a plan for the preservation of the products of the Native American Language Project for the benefit of future generations of Native Americans and other interested persons. The purpose of the Native American Language Preservation and Maintenance Esther Martinez Immersion Program is to provide financial assistance to community-driven projects designed to preserve Native American languages through Native American language nests and Native American language survival schools. ANA is interested in supporting locally determined projects designed to enhance or improve community conditions and achieve long-range community goals. The EMI program focuses support for projects that are based in teaching and building capacity for language immersion instruction. It is important to note that EMI has certain eligibility requirements that the Preservation and Maintenance program does not. To be eligible, your tribe or organization must provide documentation that they have at least 3 years' experience operating or administering a Native American language nest, language survival school, or any other educational program. In addition, you must meet one of the following requirements. You must be a Native American language nest. A language nest is a site-based education with at least 10 children under the age of 7. The nest must provide at least 500 hours of native language instruction per child per year. Or you must be a Native American survival school. A survival school is also a site-based education with providing at least 500 hours of native language instruction per child per year. It must be the principal place of instruction for at least 15 students, and math, reading, and sciences are taught in a native language. The survival school must also be located in an area with high percentage of native students. The ERE program is designed to support projects that plan, develop, and implement initiatives designed to improve the capability of the governing body of a tribe to regulate environmental quality pursuant to federal and tribal environmental laws. The ERE program enhances the ability of tribal governments to provide effective stewardship over the lands, water, and air that encompass their native communities. The ERE program supports the principle that projects must follow tribal cultural preservation and natural resource management priorities in order to achieve environmentally healthy and sustainable American Indian and Alaska Native communities. ANA is therefore interested in supporting locally designed projects that strengthen environmental regulatory programs in a manner consistent with the goals of tribal and Alaska Native communities. A total of 57 awards are expected in this year's funding cycle, and this is how it breaks down. ANA expects to fund 30 SEDS projects, sharing a total funding pool of $9.5 million. 5 awards are expected to be given to SEDS AK applications with a $1 million funding pool. P&M is expected to have 9 awards, splitting a total funding pool of $2 million. And EMI is expected to receive 5 awards with a total funding pool of $1.5 million. And lastly, ANA expects to award 8 ERE projects with a total funding pool of $2 million. All right, so let's take the time to review this year's application timeline. All 5 NOFOs were published on November 1st, 2022, and all applications for all 5 program areas are due at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 31st, 2023. Panel review for all 5 program areas will take place during the months of April, May, and June of this year. For successfully awarded native language applications, which includes P&M and EMI applications, the project start date is July 1st, 2023. And for all other successfully awarded applications, which include SEDS, SEDS AK, and ERE projects, The project start date is September 30th, 2023. We will now go over the disqualification factors. ANA has a long-standing policy to require that applicants, other than tribes or Alaska Native villages, must show that a majority of board members are representative of a Native American community to be served. Applicants must submit documentation that identifies each board member by name and indicates his or her affiliation or relationship to at least one of ANA's 3 categories of community representation, which include 1, members of federally or state recognized tribes, 2, cultural relationship with Native American community to be served, 3, persons considered to be Native American as defined in 45 CFR Section 1336.10 and Native American Pacific Islanders in Section 815 of NAPA. ANA wishes to clarify that the second category of community representation requires a cultural relationship defined as lineage, familial, marriage, or other traditional or social connection to the community, and not a business or work relationship, such as a person that owns a business or is employed by an organization that serves the Native community. Please note that applicants that do not include this documentation will be considered non-responsive, and the application will not be considered for competition. ANA also has a long-standing policy that organizations can have no more than 1 active award per Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance Number, or CFDA number for short, for an ANA program at any given time. Organizations with a current ANA grant that is eligible for a non-competitive competition award that will go beyond the start date of the possible new award and was awarded under the same CFDA number as this NOFO will not be considered. This allows for other Native communities without current ANA funding to receive an award and therefore increase the impact of funding in more communities. We will now go over the 2023 NOFO content. Applications must follow the formatting standards provided in the NOFOs in order to be accepted for review. Applications must be in Times New Roman 12-point font. Footnotes are an exception and may be Times New Roman 10-point font. Everything else in the application must be Times New Roman 12-point font. With the exception of the required standard forms and OMB approved forms, all application materials must be formatted so that they print on 8.5 inches by 11 inches white paper with 1-inch margins all around. There is a 150-page limitation for applications. However, page limitations do not include standard forms, OMB approved forms, which includes the ANA Objective Work Plan or OWP, and required assurances and certifications. The 1-page project summary is also excluded. Page numbers for each page within the application are not required, but encouraged. All applications must be double-spaced and again in Times New Roman 12-point font. Elements that are exempt from being double-spaced are the 1-page project summary, required assurances and certifications, proof of legal status or nonprofit status, third-party agreements, letters of support, footnotes, tables, and the line item budget and budget justification. Applications that fail to adhere to formatting, font, and page limitation requirements will be adjusted by the removal of pages from the application. Pages will be removed before the objective review and will not be available to reviewers. There are 3 major evaluation criterion: the approach, organizational capacity, and budget justification. Under the first criterion, approach, there are 10 sub-criteria that must be evaluated. Since FY 2018, The first 7 sub-criteria, seen here between the brackets, have also been referred to as the ANA Project Framework. The ANA Project Framework is intended to outline the project in a way that focuses long-term community goals toward achievable and measurable project outcomes. Together, these components relate a long-term goal for the community to a specific project goal, defines targets for project achievement, and provides structure to measure project outcomes. The ANA Project Framework must demonstrate a logical relationship that connects all concepts or elements of the framework. The criteria and their point allotments are as follows. Long-term community goal is worth a maximum of 2 points. Current community condition, 3 points. Project goal, 2 points. Objectives, 6 points. Outcomes and indicators, 5 points. Outputs, 3 points. Outcome tracker and outcome tracking strategy, 7 points. Community-based strategy, 10 points. Readiness and implementation strategy, 20 points. And the objective work plan is worth a maximum of 15 points. You can find the criteria with their point values in section 5.1 of the NOFO. The second criterion is organizational capacity, and it is worth a maximum of 12 points. For this section, applications will need to demonstrate that key staff and management have the expertise, knowledge, and credentials relative to assigned roles. The applicant organization should also demonstrate a connection to their community with the ability to implement the project with an efficient structure to oversee federal funds, partners, and delivery of project objectives. The budget and budget justification criterion is the last evaluation criterion, and it is divided into 2 sub-criteria, line item budget and budget justification. A detailed line item budget is required for every year of the project. The line item budget includes all required items to implement the project, including travel to mandatory ANA training and meetings. Also required under this criterion is a detailed budget justification, providing a detailed narrative of how costs were calculated for each item listed in the line item budget for every year of the project. This includes a basis for cost estimates such as equipment, personnel, and travel. The budget justification should also describe how expenditures align with the approach and the OWP, as well as provide information or documentation to demonstrate the required commitment of non-federal share contributions. Applicants applying for a SEDS grant are eligible for bonus points in 2 separate areas. The first priority area is legislative economic development. Applications may be eligible for 10 bonus points if the proposed project addresses one or more of the following legislative economic priority areas. 1, the development of a tribal code or court system for purposes of economic development, including commercial codes, training for court personnel, and the development of nonprofit subsidiaries or other tribal business structures. 2, the development of a Native Community Development Financial Institution, or CDFI, including training and administrative expenses. And last, the development of a tribal master plan for community and economic development infrastructure. Applications that propose a legislative priority project should include the economic priority areas in the project goal, all objectives and indicators, the project approach, the OWP, and the outcome tracker. The second priority area SEDS applicants are eligible for is the Native American Community Priority Area. Applications that propose a Native American Community Priority Project addressing Native veterans, emergency preparedness and response, or missing and murdered Indigenous persons should include the community priority area in the project goal, all objectives and indicators, the project approach, the OWP, and the outcome tracker. In addition, To receive bonus points for the Native Veterans Priority Area, Native veterans must be included as the target population, either as participants or beneficiaries. Please note that no application in SEDS will be eligible to receive both sets of bonus points for the Legislative Priority Area and Native American Community Priority Areas. Sorry, applicants applying for a SEDS Alaska grant are eligible for bonus points. ANA wants to provide a competitive advantage for smaller Alaska Native villages or organizations. There are two possible priority areas to receive bonus points: Legislative Economic Development and First Time Award. In order to receive the 10 bonus points, a proposed project must address one or more of the following legislative economic priority areas: the development of a tribal code or court system for purposes of economic development; 2, the development of a Native Community Development Financial Institution or CDFI; and 3, the development of a tribal master plan for community and economic development and infrastructure. Applications should include the economic priority areas in the project goal, all objectives and indicators, the project approach, the OWP, and the outcome tracker. Reviewers may also provide applications with 5 bonus points if the application includes documentation or information that states the applicant organization has never received a past award from ANA. ANA staff will confirm whether or not an applicant organization has received a past award. So now we will go over information about submitting an ANA application. Applications must be submitted electronically through grants.gov Workspace. Workspace is a shared online environment within grants.gov where members of a grant team may simultaneously access and edit different forms within an application. Paper submission of application requires a request for exemption. Exemption requests must be received by ACF no later than 2 weeks before the application due date, which is 14 calendar days prior to the application due date of March 31st, 2023. It is strongly recommended that electronic applications be uploaded as portable document files or PDFs. Documents and file formats that are not supported will be removed from the application and will not be used in the review. This may cause the application to be incomplete, and there are no restrictions on the number of files that applicants may submit or upload. Required standard forms and OMB approved forms, including the OMB approved ANA Objective Work Plan form, should be uploaded separately at grants.gov. These forms are submitted separately from the other application files and are not subject to the page limitations. When it comes to naming your files, limit the file names to 50 characters. This includes characters and spaces. Special fonts and characters of Native American languages should not be used to name files or other uploaded documents of the application. File names that exceed 50 characters and spaces and/or use special characters will not be accepted by grants.gov and will not be received by ACF. If ACF cannot access submitted electronic files because they have been encrypted or password protected, the file will be removed from the application and will not be reviewed. This removal may make the application incomplete. Listed here are a couple of resources you can use in developing your application in addition to the NOFO announcement. The first one is a link to a description of each of the 3 program areas on ANA's website. The next link is to the Training and Technical Assistance page on the ANA website. ANA is required to provide training and technical assistance to prospective applicants and current grant recipients. ANA technical assistance providers offer pre-application training for potential applicants free of charge. and we'll go over the TA centers in the next slide. The pre-application training materials accompany the pre-application training. The training manual will help you understand the NOFOs and the eligibility requirements for applying. It will also provide instructions on completing the required federal forms and packaging your application, as well as instructions on how to submit an application through grants.gov. All regional TA centers are conducting pre-application training at this time. The ANA application toolkit is broken down into 6 sections, 3 of which align with the project description. The 4th section pertains to the language NOFO differences. The 5th section provides tools and tips to support preparing and submitting an application. And the final section provides a pre-submission checklist. In addition to these 6 sections, the toolkit provides templates, examples, and worksheets. As I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, due to the rules that govern the Department of Health and Human Services grant award process, we are unable to take any questions on this webinar, but you can direct any questions you may have to your regional training and technical assistance provider. ANA provides free training and technical assistance to Native community serving organizations in 4 regions. The Western Continental U.S. region shown in the green, the Eastern Continental U.S. in the pink, the Alaska region in orange, and in the blue, the Pacific region, which includes Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, and the Commonwealth of the Mariana Islands. As mentioned in the previous slide, all regions are conducting both in-person and virtual pre-application training as we speak. Please contact your regional TA center or visit their website for current training dates. You can also find contact information for your Regional Training Assistance Center in Section 7 of the NOFO. This concludes the review of the 2023 NOFOs. This webinar has been recorded and will be posted on ANA's website in about 2 weeks. You should see an evaluation survey pop up after this webinar. We would really appreciate it if you could fill it out and share your opinions about this webinar. The survey is only 6 questions and should only take a minute or 2 to complete. So again, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We look forward to assisting you with your applications and answering any questions you may have. Good luck on your applications and have a great rest of your day. Wado.